fired up. Hello everyone and welcome to Farming Simulator 25. Today we will be setting up for the Zorch Farming Triple Threat Challenge. I'm your host, Gasoline Billy, and today I'm going to show you the setup, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of a twist on how I am going to play this challenge. So let's get started. You're going to load your game up and you're going to pick your career mode, get you an empty slot. You're going to continue. You're going to go to the map Wola Zabierzowska, and you are going to start from scratch. Your start money will be 500,000. Your start loan is 250,000. The economic difficulty will be set on hard. No start farm and no guided intro tour. I have a bunch of mods. We are just going to deselect all of them because I don't need them for this setup. Select all, deselect all. Can we do that? All right, we're great. Let's start. So we're going to load up in there, and depending on how many mods you have and the size of the map and the speed of your computer, which mine is kind of slow, you're going to see it load up into the start screen of the Zabi map that Zorch calls it. So again, slow computer. Sometime today. YouTube is waiting. So while that all compiles the shaders, we can start, and we're going to hit our start screen and we'll confirm. It's going to throw you out right here. And as you can see, we have 500,000 up in the corner. Now, there are some rules to this challenge. Right here, these are tickets. And as you can see, I can collect that ticket and I'm going to get $10,000. So you're not supposed to collect tickets. That is against the rules. But again, this is just the setup video, so I'm not saving this. This is not what I'm playing on, so this doesn't really matter. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your map, and you are going to look for field 222, which is right here. You're going to, well, let's go ahead and visit it. It'll put us right inside the shed here. We'll get out of the door, maybe. I have to buy the land first. We're going to buy this land. So you purchase this land, and now we can get out of the shed. Possibly. Let me out. Okay, so when you get to this land, you're going to see that there's quite a few buildings here. There are some fencing here, and this land goes all the way back here. There is a sheep pen right here and a silo right there. So what the first thing you have to do when you buy this property is you're going to go into your construction screen, and you are going to sell the house. And you do not want to have full refund on, as it will kind of screw up your results for your selling. Now, rules for number 2 are that you are going to pick one of these buildings or the silo, and you're going to choose to keep it. And it doesn't matter which one you want to keep. It doesn't matter. There's no difference regardless of what you want. So I kind of like this barn. Zorch kept the silo, and at Crust2 Farms kept this barn. And I have a tendency to agree with Crust2 on the shop barn here, whatever you want to call this, just for the fact that it has drive-through bays, which is, I like a shed with drive-through bays. You don't have to back up your trailers with the wobble axles. you can just drive through and drop them in there and you'll be fine. So back into the construction menu, we're going to keep this one. So we are going to sell the large garage. We are going to sell the small garage. We are going to sell the sheep barn. And we are going to sell the silo. And then the last thing we have to sell is this fence right here. And now this land is pretty much empty except for the barn that you kept. So now we need to place a house. And this house has to be at least $50,000. It doesn't matter if you want to put a $300,000 house down. I wouldn't recommend that. I would go ahead and try to get the cheapest one, but it has to be at least $50,000. So we're going to set that down, try to get it somewhat cheap as we can. And there's our house. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is you are required to purchase this field, 44, and 38, which is directly across from each side of your farmyard. And that's going to leave you approximately 225, 230, somewhere in that neighborhood. It depends on what you get for what you sell these buildings for. But somewhere in that neighborhood, you're going to be there. Now, we're going to go into our finances screen. And as you can see, we have the $250,000 loan. We are going to drop that down to $150,000. So our total loan will be $150,000. It leaves us $130,869. Now, the triple threat of this challenge, the first threat is you randomize a crop. And I I have done this for my other playthrough. I am going to show you basically what it means. So you deselect them all. You're going to put all these crops on the left side of your screen into the randomized crop picker. And it is going to randomly pick a crop, and it's going to say, okay, you have got sorghum. Okay, well, if you look at the map, there is no sorghum on the map. So we have a problem. Sorghum cannot be used. So we're going to randomize again. And this time we're going to come up with carrots. Uh-oh, there's no carrots on this map. And again, this has a lot to do with being in seasons and what time of year things are planted. And as the fields get populated and changed, a lot of these will change as well. So the third time we sprung it, we get wheat. Okay, now we've gotten wheat. So we have to take a note of all of these fields that wheat is on. And we have to purchase all of these fields that is wheat is on. And we have to plant and harvest at least one time wheat on these fields. You are allowed to use the two base fields that you have to do whatever you want, but these fields here have to have wheat planted and harvested on them before you can use them for anything else. Once it's done one time, you are allowed to change what crop you have in them. Zorch has not really set a rule as far as if you have to keep them, if you can sell them back. I am unaware of that. I'm sure Zorch would be more than happy to answer that if that was a question. My playthrough, my game, I'm going to keep all the fields that I have purchased and make do with them. So the second part of the crop randomizer is we've gotten wheat in our example here, so we have to find a production on the map that takes wheat. So we're going to scroll down here and we are going to find the grain mill. The grain mill takes wheat and it turns it into flour. We have to purchase the grain mill. So, wow, that was loud. Sorry about that. So as you can see, where we're at on the map up here is up in this corner by field 9. And this is the grain mill. And this is what you're going to have to purchase. The purchase price is $288,000. Now you cannot sell any of your wheat. You have to run it through the grain mill. And after it makes its flour, then you can sell the flour and do as you please. That is threat number 1. Okay, now let's talk about threat number 2. Threat number 2, as you're aware of, you have a $150,000 loan. And threat number 2, on the loan, you are not allowed to pay off any of the loan except in January. In January, you have to randomize a question. It's flip a coin, however you want to do it. It's 50-50. The question is, can I pay off my loan? If the answer is yes, feel free to pay off as much or all of this loan that you want to pay. If the question is no, you have to ask another yes or no question, and that is, do I have to get another loan? If the answer is yes, you're going to add $100,000 to this loan. If the answer is no, you do not have to add it. But as you can see, this will compile up because January is the only month that you're allowed to set this up. You're allowed to pay off this loan and ask these questions. So the question or the threat number 3 revolves around animals. And you are going to put all of the animals in a randomizer. And you have to pick, the randomizer has to pick an animal for you. Now, some people will get picked chickens, which are super easy, and some are going to be, cows, which are a lot harder. They take a lot longer to reproduce, and all of those things. So you put those in there, and the thing with the animals is you have to have 250 head of those animals. So you're really going to test your skills on your animals, on which animals you get. As you can see, a lot of these, I need to go into the construction menu. Sorry about that. I'm trying to mouse scroll and use my controller at the same time. It's not working out well for me. As you can see, a lot of these are pretty expensive, and it only holds 96 cows. 96 cows. Well, 250 head ain't going to fit in there. So you really got to do that. And if we go to the pigs, we've got 275. Okay, the pigsty will hold 250. But any of those others, and that is 164,000. The sheep, we have 68 in the biggest one you have of the sheep and the goat pens. The chickens, the biggest one we have, will hold 360, so you're good there. But again, $79,000. So it is a lot to get a hold of and get started with the animals as far as having a pen big enough, base game, to get a good start on the animals. So now that we've looked at that stuff, let's go into the settings, and we can go in. I'm running mine on a 3x scale time. It's a hard difficulty. Traffic is on. It is seasonal growth and 1 day per month. Snow will be on. Crop destruction will be on. Periodic plowing will be on. Fieldstone. I am going to turn fieldstone off. in my playthrough as I'm doing the Island Preservation Challenge, and there's a lot of stones to deal with on that. The lime required is on, the weeds are on. The disaster destruction I was going to have enabled uh, for the disaster destruction. I don't like playing with automatic engine start, so I shut that off and I kill all of the buy from I'm broke, I don't need AI workers spending more money than it's worth. So now that we have that set up and we've got all of our settings going, we will show you the I will go and show you the my version. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wola Zabierzowska Triple Threat Challenge with a twist. The twist is Gasoline Billy will be playing the Triple Threat Challenge on a multiplayer server with a couple of friends. So, the threats of the Triple Threat Challenge are going to be just a hair different, and the setup is just a hair different. There are 3 of us on the server, so there will be 3 players. So what we've decided to do is we've decided to up our loan amount. And I can show you in our finance screen. We are at 450,000. So it's 150,000 per person. So we're at 450,000, which makes our payments a lot more each month that we have to worry about. And since there are 3 people, we have randomized 3 crops. And I will show you on the randomizer what crops that we have got. And I will highlight them on the screen now for you. We have mustard, flax, and rye. Now on our randomizer choices, 42 items were put into the randomizer in a random order. We received rye, number 1. Number 2 was oat. Number 3 was grass. Number 4 was cotton. Number 5 was alfalfa. Number 6 was mustard. And number 7 was flax. And you're going to say, well, why did you not pick oat? That was right there. Or grass, because there are fields made of grass on this map. So we can deselect, and we'll show you there's plenty of oat fields. And we can go to grass and we can pick grass. There's plenty of grass fields to do. The reason that my friends and I decided not to do these 2 is because part of this challenge is to own the production for the map. And if you look at these productions, the grain mill already takes the rye. And there's nothing else that we could have used to do either the rye or the oat. So we chose not to do oat because of it's the same production. And we wanted a different production for each crop. So that being said, we have the flax. Oh, I'm sorry. The grass, there is nothing on the map to do with the grass. So we skipped the grass. The only thing you can really do with the grass is to basically feed it to animals. There's no really anywhere on the map to do that. So that being said, we skipped the grass. Now, if we go back in here and we go down to cotton, you'll see there is no cotton fields, So that had to be eliminated. And then if you go in here, we can go into the alfalfa. There is no fields for alfalfa. Well, yes, there is. No, I still have grass eliminated. I am sorry. There's no alfalfa fields. So we skipped the alfalfa, which brought us to the mustard. And the mustard, of course, we own the first one. That's one of our fields that we had to have. The mustard is not on the map as a what you can use, but according to the revamped rules, there is a mustard production that in the update that you can put down, um, and it has been okayed through Zorch. Um, it is an actual mustard production, and I will find it here shortly. Mustard processing plant. It's $180,000, and it takes your mustard and processes it. So that was going to be allowed because it is an update to this map so that we could use it. And then to our final crop of flax, there is a factory, the oil mill makes flax oil right there. So that is how we came up with our numbers and how we came up with our fields. So that there's three of us, so we decided to do three crops. Relatable, we also decided that we were going to do three animals. And our three animals are chickens, pigs, and cows. And that was put into a randomizer, and those are the top three choices for those. Unlike the triple threat challenge that Zorch has put on, the contracts, you're allowed to do three a month. Now, since there are three people playing on this, we are also upping that amount. We are allowing three per person per month. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but we are not going to have, all three of us will not be on the server. One of the gentlemen that I play with travels for work, and he may not even be on for 2 weeks straight. So I know it sounds like a lot that we're allowing to have 9 contracts, but the reality is we're two of us are going to be a constant playing, whereas the other one won't be a constant playing. And I'm going to stick to doing my three. I'm not sure if Indy will do three a day. I don't know. So more than likely, we're going not to even come close to that number, that 9 number, but we are allowing it to happen. One, because we really don't have any money and we only have a certain amount of work to do in our own fields, and we're got the triple the debt of everyone else to deal with. So it only seemed right if we were tripling everything else to triple the amount of loan or the amount of contracts being allowed to do. So that being said, let's get back into our farmyard here. So far, what we have set up is we set this house down. It is a $50,000 house. We sold the silo, we kept that barn. So I put up this Omatama multi-fruit silo. Our farm colors are purple, that's why it's purple. We have a repair point. We have put down a buying point for seeds and fertilizer and whatnot. I put down the sawmill and cut down the trees, as you can see, so that we could, I shouldn't say we could get the trees cut down and start making a little bit of money off of the wood beams. And as a greenhouse income beginner, we've put down Omatama's apple production. You get apple juice here, and the apples, of course, spawn there. It takes water. We're running it on water and manure that we was able to get out of our buying point. And Brian has suggested, since there was 3 of us, that we should have a third field. So we went ahead and we have our mustard field here. We had our rye field here, and the field directly ahead of that was a flax field here. So we own those 3 pieces of property. So as you can see, we've got a little bit of started going up. Our starting equipment is this Ford tractor and this trailer here. We went with the cheapest harvester, this little Massey Ferguson 310, and we went with the square baler, John Deere square baler over here, and we have the Lizard TARDIS water tank to do our water up there. We also have a lime spreader, fert spreader down at the shop. I have not yet picked up. Can't really spread lime on our fields because they needed harvested and then plowed, and then we don't have a plow yet. We don't have a seeder yet, and as you can see, our money's already way down. So we've already harvested this and put it in the silo. We still got to pick up the straw, and I'm starting to work on the mustard field now, so we'll just hop up in there and we'll get this thing fired up, and we are going to get our steering assist set up, and we're going to be off like a dress on prom night. Here we go. More straw. Yeehaw. So I hope everyone's doing well. It is the weekend for me, so hopefully I can get a few videos recorded and get a few out for the Island Preservation Challenge and a few out for this challenge as well, and maybe get ahead of the game a little bit. I was behind the game for the last week with work, getting videos put out. Wasn't able to get one out as often as I wanted to, so hopefully with the weekend here I can kind of get ahead of the game a little bit and set some things up, so get a couple videos and get them ready, so get ahead of the game a little bit. This mustard, we're not getting a really good yield out of this. I'm sure it's not the best fertilization state. This is going to be a really long challenge, like the Island Preservation Challenge. It is going to take quite a while to not only purchase all the fields, but also purchase the production points and the animal pens. And even when you get all of that done, if every January that rolls around you get a no answer on your loan payoff, you are still going to be paying your loan. So technically, this challenge could technically go on forever if you always ever only got a no answer for paying off your loan. I'm not sure exactly what we would do in that situation. I think being on PC, I would turn on realistic financing, so at least it was paying down on the payment and not just the interest. It would pay it down. So as of right now, we don't have that mod installed and don't plan on installing that mod, but if we come down to it and we had to, then that's a option for us to do so. So we're just going to get to work on this field, show you a little bit of time lapse. I know this is not a lot of farm work for you guys to see, but I wanted for you to see the setup and see the little bit of twist that my friends and I have decided to do with this challenge. And I implore you to take on this challenge as well. Unlike the Island Preservation Challenge, I do not have a list of all the creators doing this challenge as of yet. I know at Zorch, the creator is doing it. Zorch Farming. Crust 2 Farms is also participating. Brendo Sims, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Aussie Brenda Sims is competing. PH4NZ, I know, has started this challenge. Cousin Skeeter's Farming Adventures has also started this challenge. The list is long. I'm sure between one of us content creators, we will get a list put together so that we can get everybody included. But I implore you to go and check out their channels, check out their versions of this challenge and their starts to this challenge. Like I said, many people might choose a silo, or they might choose the little shed because they wanted more money. If you sell the bigger stuff and you keep the little thing, you get more money to start. So there's a lot of different ways that people can change and do things. And I implore you to go check them out. Give them some love. Hit their like button. Send them a comment. Tell them you appreciate them taking their time to make videos to entertain and do their best for you. So let's get to it. We'll get some of this field done. I'll send this into a time lapse, and we will catch you back here in just a minute. Everyone, we are going to go ahead and get this harvester emptied out. We're going to leave the episode here. For a better description of the rules for this challenge, it will be down below in the video. Hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for watching to my version of the Triple Threat Challenge with a twist. And we will catch you all later. Thank you. Hi, I'm Gasoline Billy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, we can jump to our next adventure.